Hi there guys and welcome to week 10, episode 10 of Jonesy's Question Time. But yeah, 10 weeks I've been doing this series now. Quite hard to believe that, but all going well and still really enjoying it. Just going to apologise to begin with if I sound a little bit sniffly and everything. Hay fever has kicked in with full force with the sun that's out at the moment. Really high pollen count and it's doing my head in. So apologies if I do feel a little bit, if I sound a little bit sniffly. I definitely feel a bit sniffly. Got quite a lot of football questions in at the moment. I only really had one non-footballing question in for this week. Obviously still got quite a few questions from James Broxup from last week. None of those are football related, but yeah, I only got one non-footballing related question in. So for next week, guys, because I've got quite a backlog of questions which are all football related, so for next week, guys, if you could just purely send in non-sporting related questions, actually no, not non-sporting, just non-football related questions, just mix it up a little bit again and send some quirky or wacky questions in, or some silly questions. Just use your imagination a little bit and let's go a little bit wild. So anyway, let's start off with a question from Ian Webb, who says he believes he was my fourth subscriber actually. So thank you very much for sticking with me all this time, Ian. Great to hear from you. Ian asks me, what do you think about football in the USA? I'm from Maryland and have been following Chelsea for a few years and have recently been getting into the MLS. What do you and others in England think of our growth in the sport? That is a fantastic question, Ian. Really, really, really good question. I think also when it really, I can't remember how long it's been going now, but it's always kind of been made fun of a lot really in the past. The Americans haven't really ever taken to it. Obviously American football is kind of your biggest sport over there, isn't it? And you've got your basketball and your baseball and everything. And football, well, soccer to you, has always been well behind those sports. But quite honestly, over the past 5 years, there's been a lot of investment in the sport over there, and it's really, really taken off a lot more. Obviously, I think with the likes of, a good few years ago, Thierry Henry and David Beckham going over there, that certainly raised the sport quite a lot, gave it more of a global branding, really gave people more of a reason to watch it and get into it. And really you're seeing a lot more players wanting to move over there. I know there's a lot of ex-English, Football League players that do currently play over there. And you look at the standard, and I can't honestly say that I watch a lot of it, Ian. But from what I do see, it definitely seems to be a hell of a lot better. And the crowds seem to be improving a hell of a lot. Quite a few years ago, you'd see pictures from stadiums, quarter to half full stadiums, but you look now and the majority of the time you see it, they're pretty much full. I definitely think everyone wants it to work, and for me, I would say over the last 2 years I've noticed a lot more people, like on Twitter, Facebook and everything, just sport in general, a lot more people seem to be taking a genuine interest in it, to be honest. A lot of people that I follow on Twitter, loads of people talk about watching games and staying up to watch them, and taking a real interest. So I think really the general consensus is that it's definitely growing on people, Ian. I think everyone over there in America has done a fantastic job in raising the profile of the game, in trying to get top players to play over there, and it's obviously doing a really good job. It obviously seems to be doing well with Americans over there, and the fact that it's becoming much more globally accepted, it's fantastic to see. And I think you can see that in the rise of the USA national team as well. The US national team, you've been picking up a hell of a lot over the past decade, I would say, and I think that's down to the growth in the MLS as well itself. So yeah, to cap off, Ian, yeah, I quite like it. Like I say, I don't really see that much of it, but the bits that I do see, I'm quite impressed in how far it's come along. And from what I see over here in England and the way people talk about it, people are much more interested now than what people thought they ever would be in soccer in the USA. So yeah, fantastic question that, Ian. Thank you very much for sending that one in, and hope everything's okay for you over in Maryland. Now this question. This was sent in from Herbie Howard. I love that name. Herbie Howard just sounds like he should be some kind of spy extraordinaire. Herbie Howard. Yeah, he sent a question in. I wasn't sure whether he was actually wanting me to ask, to answer this on this series, but it turned out that he did. He left me this long post. He said, "Jonesy, do you feel you've not fulfilled your potential? I don't want to come across rude or undermine what you are doing, but you come across as a bright, personal man who doesn't value himself enough. Obviously, I know little to nothing about you, but I do get the sense you're selling yourself short and could do well for yourself financially. I hope I'm not coming across as a twit. Keep up the good videos, mate." So first and foremost, you are certainly not coming across as a twit, Herbie. I took that question the way it was meant to be taken. It's, I feel it's, if people are going to give you constructive criticism or sort of ask questions of you, that is the way to do it, and people appreciate that, and I certainly appreciate comments like that, Herbie, so don't feel bad for asking it. Answering the question itself, do I feel I've not fulfilled my potential? It depends. It's quite a hard one to answer, actually, Herbie. On YouTube, I don't feel I've had the time or the real opportunity to fulfill my potential, because under better circumstances, if I was in my own place, if I had a little bit more money, and if I just literally had so much more time, if I was able to do it full time, I believe I would be able to fulfill the potential on here so much, because I plan so many things in my head. Both me and Lee for my channel and for the Bartat channel are just constantly coming up with ideas, and to be honest, half of them, I'm not saying we'll never get done, but it's going to be a hell of a long time until they do get done, because there's just literally no way of fulfilling them at the moment. If we were doing it full time, then it would be able to do that. So yeah, under better circumstances, YouTube wise, I believe I would be able to fulfill my potential, and that is literally just because of time and certain constraints, not because I don't necessarily believe in myself. In general, in my life in general, I probably don't feel like I've fulfilled my potential, and that probably is down to the fact that I maybe don't value myself enough. I mean, the whole depression and anxiety thing obviously plays a major part in that, and is something I have a daily struggle with. Part of that includes having very low self-confidence, and yeah, not particularly valuing myself in a way. I mean, I wouldn't go as far to say that I hate myself and I really dislike myself and who I am and what I do and everything. Definitely not that far, but I do have low self-confidence. I mean, that's come from a young age, at high school really. I was always very shy growing up, and then in high school I tried to come across as quite a confident guy, and in some situations I was, but certain bullying incidents kind of knocked that out of me. Certain situations sort of with girls and everything, I know that sounds pathetic, but that really did knock my confidence a lot. And then for many years, I think I was just too comfortable in myself. I got with my ex of 6.5 years, and I think I just got in a zone where I was happy, but I think I was just too comfortable, and I didn't push myself as much as I could have done, and I just kind of laid back a bit too much. And that was basically through my time of the back end of high school, through university and everything. And I still always struggle with my confidence and everything through that time. After university, obviously I didn't get where I wanted to within sports journalism. I was knocked back so many times trying to get certain jobs and in certain places. And after spending, 3 years learning it and getting a degree in it, not to get a job in it was really hard to take. And also around that time, I broke up with my ex. I was just, kind of discovered that I got the whole depression thing. So everything all happened at once. And obviously mentally that wasn't the best thing for me. I'd kind of pushed a lot of friends away during that time, which was a big mistake. And yeah, all of that kind of culminates in me really, suffering a lot with my self-value and everything. And I mean, I think I have improved a lot since that time. I mean, that's, coming up to, about 2 years since all that really came to a head. And I have improved, but I think it is just a natural thing for me now, especially with the depression and anxiety, that I will always struggle with my self-confidence. And as long as I am struggling with that, I suppose maybe I will struggle to fulfill my potential. I mean, looking back on it, ideally, I suppose, first and foremost, I would have loved to have been, my ideal job was to be a football commentator, whether that be local radio or, pushing towards national level and everything. That was kind of the dream and the whole journalistic dream. But I've moved on from that and I've changed things. So potentially now what I'm aiming for, as I've said many times before, to do YouTube full time would be an absolute dream job. And it's something that is going to be very, very hard to do. But I think, again, like I say, if I had the real opportunity to do it, I feel I could do it well. So YouTube-wise, I think I am currently fulfilling my possible potential. But in general, I possibly haven't fulfilled my potential, Herbie. But like I say, that's down to so many reasons, really. I found myself waffling through that, but that was a harder question to answer than what I thought it would be, and it's taken up half of the time that we have for this question time episode. But yeah, fantastic question, Herbie. I really do appreciate it, mate, and don't feel bad about asking it. But very in-depth, deep question to ask there. So thank you very much for sending that in. Where should we go next? Adam Dixon, you sent in quite a few questions, pal. I think I've really already answered quite a few of them, but I will answer what is my favourite Leeds goal of 2014-2015. I can't remember what I voted for the official one, but there's quite a few, really. I mean, Rudy Austin's goal against Watford, I believe that won the goal of the season officially, and that was a fantastic goal. It was one of those where I was stood in the south stand. As soon as the ball was bouncing and you saw it was going to let fly, everyone kind of knew that it was going to go in. It was just one of those shots that you knew it was going to happen. So that was a fantastic one. Luke Murphy's against Bournemouth, again, that was fantastic, and again one that you knew as soon as he let fly, it was going right in the top corner. That was lovely. Belushi's free kick against Bournemouth in the reverse fixture early this season, I mean, that was just one of those stunning goals. I mean, it was one of those, it could have gone absolutely anywhere, but it was so well struck. It had the pace behind it. It literally went right in the top corner. It had the curl on it, and it was just one of those wow moments. I think that is actually the one that I voted for in the official one, but really, looking back on it, my favourite one is one that was talked about a little less, and it was one that was more about the build-up than the actual final goal, but it was Dekara's goal against Blackpool when we beat them. Was it 2 or 3? Was it 2-0 or was it 3-1? I actually can't remember at Ellen Road. Anyway, it was the one that started off in our own penalty area, and it was well worked at the back, I think, like between Byram and Adrian and Antonucci, and then basically breaking forward with Adrian, who played the perfect through ball to Dekara, who finished it off first time. And it was just one of those where it was literally like watching Barcelona play, and no one could quite believe that it had happened. And it was around the time that we thought, maybe we're actually going to do something, but yeah, that didn't happen, did it? But yeah, for me, Adam, that is my favourite goal of 2014-15. Suleiman Dekara's goal against Blackpool with that fantastic build-up, which was just immense, really. It was really fantastic, that one. So yeah, thank you very much for your question, and your other questions, Adam. Like I say, James Broxup, who, like I said in the last episode, sent in quite a few questions. This is another one of his. He asked me, what is your biggest fear? I mean, I'm not a fan of spiders. it's not really a big proper irrational fear of spiders, I have to say. It's not one of those where I can't be in a room with any spiders. I don't really mind the little spiders at all. I'll quite happily, pick them up and put them outside. But when you're sort of starting to get to the size of your average house spider, which does seem to be getting bigger, by the way, that's where I really start to kind of panic with them. I really can't deal with them. It's yeah. There's certain ones that really do get to me and make me all really feel creeped out and tingly over my body. I do feel like it's been getting worse over the past years for some reason. I don't know why. But I remember seeing one when I was at work in the warehouse, and it was one that I'd never ever seen before, and it was so weird. It had like a very weird abdomen to it. It was a very, very fat abdomen, but it had kind of very spindly legs. It was deep black colour, and I'd never seen it before, and I remember taking a video on my phone, and unfortunately I deleted it, but it really did freak me out, and I had to end up hoovering it up, which is something I don't like to do. I never like killing spiders. I will always catch them and put them outside, because I have more respect for the spiders, and I understand that they probably fear me a lot more than I fear it. But yeah, I mean, if I was to... recently there was a story in the news of somewhere down south, I think, was it an Aldi warehouse? They'd had a shipment of bananas over from Brazil, and a bloody Brazilian wandering spider came out, which is pretty much classed as the most venomous spider in the world. It gives you like a 2-hour most painful erection you'll ever have, and makes men impotent. And like if you don't get the antidote within an hour, you pretty much, well, you'd be lucky if you survive. So if I'd have come face to face with that, I really think I'd just be died of shock, to be honest. So yeah, I'm really not keen on spiders. Heights, I'm not really too bad with heights. It's every now and again I can get a bit funny. Like when I went to Paris quite a few years ago, going up the Eiffel Tower, I was fine at the top of the tower. I was fine going up in the lift, but literally just walking up the first set of stairs, I think because it was all open, it just made me feel really uneasy, which is really strange. So I wouldn't ever class that I have a fear of heights. It's more a fear of falling, I suppose. I think that's it really. When people say that they're scared of flying, or scared of heights, I don't think it's actually the thing of flying. It is the fact of it possibly crashing or falling, really, isn't it, when you think about it? But other than that, I don't really have that many fears. No, that's it really, to be honest, James. So yeah, like I say, not the biggest fan of spiders. So quickly, let's finish off with a question from TR Gamer, who asks, if you played for Leeds United, what position would you like to play? For me, it would be right midfield, basically because that used to be my position when I played football. I used to play football, like Sunday League football, quite a lot during sort of the high school years, really, and towards the end of high school, and that was the last time I played it, really. But yeah, I used to play for my local side, Cuckridge Albion, and I did for a short time play for the Guiseley youth team, and yeah, right midfield was my area. I was really fast during school. I used to run the 200 metres and the 100 metre relay and everything during school, and was like the fastest in my year. Oh God, if only I could be that fast again. I actually held the record in my year for a couple of years. Yeah, so I used to be a right midfield, and the team always just kind of pumped the ball over the top, and it was my job to just run onto the balls and gamble and everything. And yeah, for the first few years, I didn't actually score any goals for the club, but I was always kind of the assister of the team. And then one season, all of a sudden, I scored 12, which is still one of my biggest kind of proudest moments in my life. That season, scoring 12 goals, and scored an absolute corker for my first one as well. But yeah, I used to love raging down that right wing, taking on defenders. Used to love taking corners and free kicks and things. So that's where I'd like to play TR Gamer if I could ever get back into football again. When I went to Guiseley, actually the reason I wasn't there too long is because I just didn't see eye to eye with the manager, and he completely messed me and my mates about who had just joined. He basically was he picked who he wanted to pick based on, basically, put it this way, he picked his son week in, week out, even though he's one of the worst players on the team. But yeah, I played literally every position in that team apart from right wing, and he did it on purpose. And the first game I ever played, I scored 2 goals in a 7-2 defeat, and almost set up a third goal, which was squandered. The opposition team gave me man of the match. When their manager came over to ask who scored the 2 goals, he didn't have a clue what my name was, our manager, and just said, I think it was one of the new guys. And yeah, you can kind of guess what kind of manager he was. So that's why I wasn't there too long. But yeah, right midfield was my position. Absolutely loved it. And was much fun. So there we go, guys. That's 20 minutes gone very quickly, mainly on just one question. So yeah, like I said, that was more heavily based towards sports that time round, guys. So if you could just, for the next episode, because I still have a backlog of Leeds United and football questions, if you could just purely send in general related topics. It could be something based in the news recently, it can be based on music, on films, on TV, on, I don't know, Doctor Who, on comedy, stand-up comedy, science, I don't know, anything you want, based on, I don't know, absolutely anything. Make it wacky, make it funny, and just make it a little bit different, so that I can have a decent mixture for next time round, guys. So until then, thank you to everyone who has sent in questions for this week. If I haven't answered your question this time round, I will over the next coming week, so don't worry. You can leave the questions in any of the Question Time video comment section, so it makes it easier for me to keep hold of them, or at my Twitter at Chris Jones LUFC. Thank you very much for watching, guys. If it is your first time over here, then please do give a like and a subscribe. That'd be much appreciated. And until next time, guys, I will see you all very soon.